Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Well, first, I just wanted to express support for the emergency regulations. I do understand that it's not really the best method to move forward with protecting the salmon and making sure there are in-stream flows. But it is the tool that we have right now, being that we haven't finished or even we have just started the process to establish what the flows need to be to start restoring salmon within the Scott and Shasta River watersheds. With that, I do have a few concerns with the plan as proposed. I do agree with Fish and Wildlife Service that the baseline flow of 50 should be considered the belly scraping flow within the Shasta River watershed. I think we really need to look at whether or not habitat is available and not just whether or not there what seems like a cool flow. Anyway, so I think we need to listen to the experts when it comes to what those belly scraping flows need to be. I also think we need to make sure that we're doing everything possible to protect the groundwater. To see the chart that groundwater levels are up, it does show that these emergency regulations, even though they're belly scraping and not enough, are working and are helping. And I hope that restoration efforts do move forward because truthfully, localized flooding, if there are floodplains available, can be very helpful to recharging the groundwater. I do think that the early and often notifications are really important so the ag community can plan ahead, but also so that the public knows what's happening. And then on the issues of trading information for flow, I understand why that approach was used, but I think it sets a little bit of a dangerous precedent. We're all in this together, and providing information and making sure that we can make solid plans that work for everyone is just really important. And to say that, okay, well, now you don't have to make sure to do your part because you allowed us to gather information, I think is not a good path forward. So that's my only real concern because I think we've seen that when there is opportunities for abuse within some of these watersheds, they can actually happen. Sorry, I was making tea. Um, and we saw that before with the the early cooperative solution process, and we have gotten better on that. But I don't want to be in a situation where we're trading information for flow and people start taking advantage of that. With that, I think we need to look at certain situations when it comes to temperatures also. I'm really concerned that we're still having such terrible flows and temperatures coming out of the Dwinelle Reservoir. So I think when we really look into the long-term planning, we need to make sure that it's not just, oh, well, they're a senior water right holder, so they don't have to participate, but actually look at where in the watershed we are, engage in different parts of the watershed. And that is somewhere where I've agreed with the agricultural community somewhat. It can't just be one flow gauge we're looking at and then putting all of the burden within the people that are close to that flow gauge. We need to look at habitat throughout watersheds. But I think this is better than what we've had. I just really think that looking at metering, enforcement, and then making sure that there's not room for abuse, but also that people know what's coming and when so that they can plan well, is important. I really look forward to working with you on the long-term solutions because I do think it's going to be really important so that everyone can plan ahead. And I know that like this is doesn't feel like the best path forward, but I like to remind the board that before we were looking at minimum in-stream flows and emergency flows, that we were having rivers go dry even in good years. And just because it's rained for the last month does not mean that it's going to continue to rain. And we do need to replenish the groundwater in these watersheds, and we do need to look at the needs of the salmon in the long term. And if we cut from what we've done now, we could lose whole age classes of salmon again and have everything that we've done turn out for naught. So please move forward. Please make sure to notify the community of what to expect. And please make sure that there is metering and enforcement and that we're looking at different compliance points within the watershed. And also, thank you so much for your work to make sure everyone can engage in these hearings and have a nice day.